Good afternoon, everybody. Just another update during these strange times. Paul Richardson, one of my subscribers, when I said that I had got all my figures from Newland Designs but was unable to get figures for the Jacobite rebellion of like artillery and cavalry, advised me to try Lancer Miniatures, who turned out to be based in Stevenage, which is only about 30 or 40 minutes from where I live. So I went on to their website, as Paul advised, and saw some very nice, very attractive figures. They've got quite a wonderful range of 10, I believe it's 10mm, 20mm and 28mm in numerous periods. So if you're looking for something, a manufacturer which many of us may not have been familiar with, Lancer Miniatures, go to their website. And I was able to choose some very nice figures, as I say, Jacobite rebellions, government cavalry and artillery, and Jacobite cavalry and artillery, and also some French troops, which will do for some of the numerous regiments that were supplied by the French, the Manchester Regiment for one, and Prince Charles's bodyguard, royal bodyguard. Anyway, just to show you sort of things that were on offer. We've got this artillery man here. I think they're possibly a little bit sort of beefier or chunkier than the Newland Miniatures that I've been getting, but not by too much. I mean, I think they're probably going to be all right, and very nicely done. Quite a lot of character in them, and it's always one, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. Very nice, very much correct for the period. I got some French infantry with sort of floppy hats. I suppose there is a technical term, but like almost like light infantry, and I believe they will actually do quite well. There we go. They will actually do quite well with that soft hat for some of the troops on the Highland side, who, as I say, were supplied with French army equipment, but you could do your conversions with just simply with the paint. And it's not wanting to focus too easily. Right, coming out there. So he's got a kind of like, almost like a light infantryman's, but floppy hat. There you go. Quite nicely detailed figures, and quite pleased with them. I think they'll fit in quite nicely with I've got. I also got some 7 Years' War French officers, general officers, which I'm quite hopeful they will actually reasonably pass for Jacobites. Certainly Lord George Murray, the Jacobite commander, and yeah, I've got another figure there which I'll show you, which I might just get away with him as a this other figure. I might get away with him as Prince Charles if I can find it. But what else have I got? Yeah, I've got some again regular French infantry with the recognisable coats with the skirt, which that can either do as some French infantry. I believe some French Marines were at Culloden, and quite nicely done. As I say, there might be a slight issue of bulkiness. These might be a little bit chubbier than the Newland designs, but there's very little in it. I'm quite pleased with the comparison. And I got what else did I get? I got French German. Got small battalion gun, which I believe is a 2-pounder, possibly a 3-pounder, which apparently were the guns used at Culloden, to my surprise. It seemed quite small, but here's the one which I think I might get away with him as Bonnie Prince Charlie, although at the rate I'm doing it, I'm not doing a kind of full army, it's just a representative force, but I think he may well be, he may well do. Oh, he's not having it. And so with a bit of paintwork, he may well, might have to do a sort of a milliput tam o'shanter type thing to replace his tricorn hat, but yeah, I think I'll get away with him as Bonnie Prince Charlie. Although there are, I know there are manufacturers who, I'm not sure if it's in 20mm, but who do Bonnie Prince Charlie figures. Yeah, that's 7 Years War French. 7 Years War French. I've got a dozen cavalry who. Will do for my English dragoons. As I say, quite reasonably pleased with that as a casting, and so now I've got two you know, reasonable small forces, but Jacobites and government forces with all their little kind of, you know, their little minor regiments that went along. I also because I lost it at some point, but I also purchased Cumberland's Culloden Army, which is I'm sure I'm going to find the old copy now that I've bought a new one, but very nice very nice artwork in this one, and just beautiful colours. You know, they're two good armies in terms of you know, complementing each other in terms of actually display. They do look very good. One army, you know, very much an 18th century army. The other one almost a sort of ancient or medieval army, in fact. But I've got another couple of books coming, and then I haven't actually begun to do any painting yet. I've had a bit of a hiatus. I've a few things to do at home. I felt a bit strangely tired with you know, the minimum opportunity to go out other than to go to the supermarket, but found a sort of sleeping a little bit erratic, and just been reading more than anything else. Been catching up on my reading, which is always a very dangerous thing to do, given that I'm likely to react to what I read if I'm sufficiently inspired, and off I go with another collection of figures. But I've got my War of 1812 figures all stashed away, and I will persist with my Jacobite forces. We hope to go up to Scotland to Inverness in October. You know, there may still, well, I'm sure there still will be some restrictions at this time, but if we're not able to travel by October, then I think the whole year will be wiped out. But I'm hopeful of things freeing up a little bit by then, and then I'll get back to Culloden and Prestonpans and Falkirk, and try and visit some of these battlefields and get some do some reporting, and hopefully upload some videos of Culloden. Though there are plenty on YouTube. There's some marvellous tours of the battlefield, far better than I could hope to achieve. But I shall have a wander over the battlefield again and have a little chat and put it out there for those who are interested. Yeah, I'm doing an awful lot of reading at the moment, I can say for sure. I think you know, all those times when I always thought, oh, it'd be really lovely to have a lot of time to myself. I'm sure I'd paint, you know, massive amounts. Hasn't quite proved to be the case. Instead of painting a lot, I've actually done a lot of reading, as I say, but it felt a bit sort of lackluster, really. Not really got round to actually painting as I thought I would. But anyway, I've got a project now that I'm sticking with, and hopefully I will be able to update you soon with some painted figures. As I say, thanks again to all who watch and comment, and for all your insight and advice. And you know, I'm quite happy with my purchases now. I should say Lancer Miniatures responded to my order within 48 hours, and post office is still doing marvellously well, so well done to you lads. Amongst all the obvious chaos, some things still seem to be working, and that's not by accident. It's a lot of people's hard efforts. So not only the NHS to be congratulated, but Royal Mail, and you know, all the supermarkets, of course, and delivery drivers who've kept us going. There's been some bad days, you know. I mean, I'm like a lot of the other guys on YouTube, and not only the wargaming community, but I look at a guy called Hubnut for cars, and there's Adam the Woo, who does tours of American back roads, you know, small town America and stuff. And they've all been in lockdown, and you know, people do suffer, but you know, obviously some have suffered worse than others and lost people, but it's not been easy on some days, but it's been made easier by there being a semblance of normality. As I say, the post keeps coming, and you know, you're able to get food and watch TV and read books, and you guys have been contributing wonderfully with your videos, all of you. Too many to name, really. I wouldn't like to name any individuals, but the usual people, and many others who've kept going during this period, and I think it's been terrific, really. It's helped me along. So thanks a lot, guys. Hope you're all well, and we'll speak to you in an upcoming video, and hopefully I'll have something painted to show you rather than these endless unpainted castings. But I've got them now. I've got them all assembled, and got no excuses. Not waiting for anything. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye.